there's probably people out there that might be like me, where they might have a lot of ideas for goals, and it could come at any time. So
Mhm.
how would you work with somebody who maybe at the beginning of the year has these goals that they want, but in the middle of those goals, they're coming to you with other goals now. How are you prioritizing those goals, and how do you handle something like that?
Well, prioritize is the key word. Are the new goals just new? Are they chasing the new shiny object of the day? Or did something change in your life that made that a new important goal? You might have, a child who's going and doing well in school, and you've all of a sudden discovered this musical talent or something like that, and going to a special kind of a school that costs out of pocket money instead of public school wasn't something you even thought about 6 months ago. Kids change a lot in short order. You if you don't know it by now, you're gonna find that out. So that might be a goal. Okay, well, is that more important than saving for the second house that you said you were saving for, or whatever that? Yeah, that's going on the back burner, or that's less important. No, you know what? We were just wondering. And a lot of these things are, I would say, are wonderings. So I'm going to bring it back to do you have the ability to save, or do you have excess income? And I always find it amazing, but that's not an easy question for people to answer, because money comes in and they spend it, and then they wait for the next paycheck, or the next deposit, and then they spend it, and they don't really think about where it's going. And this process doesn't have to get real granular on that, but it does get you to think about it. And it does get you to see, this month was out of character relative to other months, and what did I do different in that month? It helps you identify that, and then prioritize whether or not that's something you want to do and will continue to do, or could that be prioritized out. And that's how you get to the new goal. So you're raising an absolute point. Is, if you don't write it all down and you don't know what your first goal was, and then the goal changes, you'll have no idea what threw off the first goal and why you're not achieving the second goal. You're going to be all over the map. So it's okay to do that. But you said it right when you said prioritize, is that something is going to be sacrificed. You're not going to save as much or have as much for something else if you have a new or different goal. And that's okay. You just have to prioritize it. I think I have that conversation, probably surprisingly to many people, is we talk about that kind of a thing. I don't have a right answer. I'm not going to tell you this is how much you should spend and this is how you should live your life. I just want to help you find out what your life costs you. And then you start to tell me what these other goals are. And we might just say, look, that's going to be really hard to do unless you make a sacrifice on this other priority over here. That's that's the part of this conversation. And if we're doing a journaling like conversation, or writing these things down in a journal, we can have that conversation and make those decisions and feel good about it. If you like what you heard and you need help writing your goals down and being accountable for them, go to gootfinancial.com, contact us, and set up a time to start a conversation, and we'll get you on your way.